Now, a BBC investigation has found women who've had their eggs frozen may have been misled by some clinics about their chances of having a baby later in life. The number of women having the procedure in the UK is at a record high and is often advertised as a way for them to delay having children. But the fertility regulator says it's concerned about how success rates are being communicated to patients because there's no guarantee the expensive and invasive procedure will work. Anna Collinson has this report.
Going into the operating theatre, that's when it gets really real.
Ro is about to have her eggs retrieved. The idea, to freeze them at a younger, more fertile point and use them when she's ready to have a baby.
I'm an absolute realist going into this, and I know that freezing my eggs does not guarantee me success of having a child in the future.
Under sedation, a long, thin needle is carefully inserted into each ovary to retrieve her eggs. They're frozen and placed in storage.
Initially, I was just doing one injection.
There's been a boom in egg freezing for non-medical reasons, an idea propelled by celebrities.
I thought what I was doing, right, was showing young lasses and young women that there's like alternatives, you know, that we don't just have to rush into things with potentially the wrong bloke.
Single at 39, Natalie decided to freeze her eggs in 2020, but the science teacher struggled to understand what her chances of having a baby were.
It's just purely now based on trust and hope rather than data and research. I feel it was a journey that I felt very alone on. I don't think I expected, you know, the financial toll. Honestly, it was probably the biggest hit. It was just trying to find the money from anywhere to make this happen.
Fertility clinic websites can be a key source of free information, but analysis by the BBC found 41% of clinics which offer private egg freezing in the UK may have breached advertising guidance. We found some clinics are prominently displaying attractive sounding success rates, but these numbers only cover one stage of the egg freezing journey. The chances of going on to have a baby are far lower, and that isn't always made clear. We shared our findings with the Fertility Network.
To invest in egg freezing, a massive financial investment, what a key decision in your life. I feel very angry for patients because they are being misled by this level of information.
Fertility experts told us patients should get personalised information about their chances of success at a consultation, but stress websites must be transparent.
The ability to freeze eggs.
The UK's fertility regulator is clear. The responsibility to inform lies with clinics.
Freezing eggs for medical reasons is very different to freezing for social reasons. And as a regulator, we are concerned about the success rates. We are concerned about the information women are getting when they're considering this process.
Natalie is one of the few who's come back to use her eggs and now has a baby boy. The whole journey cost more than £18,000.
Holding Huxley for the first time, I mean, you're in awe that this baby has come from a frozen egg. I have been really, really fortunate, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Anna Collinson, BBC News.
Well, let's get more on this. Let's speak to Dr. Catherine Hill. You saw her there in that piece. She's from the Fertility Network. Thank you, Doctor, for being here on the programme. Just tell me then a little more about your concerns here.
Yes, well, as the National Fertility Charity, we are deeply concerned that fertility clinic websites aren't providing an appropriate level of information for women considering freezing their eggs, and that in doing this, they're creating unrealistic anxiety about what happens if you don't freeze your eggs, and they're also creating unrealistic expectations of success if you do freeze your eggs. And without providing this clear, transparent information, women cannot make an informed decision, and it's a very expensive decision that they're making, but they can't make this, and they risk being exploited rather than being empowered by this technology.
I was surprised because you told our producer that you would recommend that it is mandatory for clinics to put information on their websites about risks, about side effects, costs of egg freezing. I mean, I'm really surprised that's not already mandatory and the case.
Well, the advertising regulator, they do look at the information that is on there, and if it is misleading, then they will do something about that. But What I've looked at the websites, and what you don't see is there should be information there on success rates, costs, risks, and side effects. But what isn't there on success rates? There's twofold information you need. You need information on IVF success rates, which vary by age, but you also need clear information on the number of eggs that a woman needs to freeze in order to have a realistic chance of success in the future. And that varies greatly by age. So if you're 34, you'd need to freeze 10 eggs to have a realistic chance of success. If you're 37, that number doubles. You'd need to freeze 20 eggs. But if you're over 40, 41, 42, you need to freeze around 61 eggs to have a realistic chance of success. And if websites are not putting that level of information on there, how can women make an informed decision? And right now in the UK, we have the situation where the majority of women who freeze their eggs are over the age of 35. So not the best possible time to be freezing your eggs. You know, this technology is amazing. It can transform lives, but it is absolutely not a fertility insurance policy, and it isn't for everyone, and it shouldn't be sold as such.
It's interesting where you ended, and that was fascinating data about the eggs and the ages and how that is different from different age categories. But you said there it shouldn't be used as a sort of insurance policy. Do you fear that that is exactly what is happening? And have you sensed any sort of change in social attitudes, especially post-COVID?
There have been changes. We know that clinics said that there was an increase in the number of women who expressed an interest in freezing their eggs, and we have seen figures go up steadily. It's also, there's been legislative change, July 2022, you can now freeze your eggs for more than 10 years, and that will see a change. But we have young women coming to us, and they talk to us about feeling bombarded by adverts about egg freezing, whether they're sitting on the tube in London or whether it's coming into their social media feed, and it's making them anxious about the fertility. But what actually research shows is that for the vast majority of women who have frozen their eggs so far, most of them aren't coming back to use them because they're actually getting pregnant naturally. So that is why this egg freezing isn't for everyone. Yes, it will work wonders for some people, but you need a certain level of information in order to be able to make an informed decision about whether it is for you.
Catherine Hill, fascinating talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us live on today's programme. Thank you.
Thank you.